Everyone asks the same questions these days. How many Halos are there? 5? 6? Perhaps 7? Whoa, that's a lot of Halos. And this one's probably going to be the biggest one yet.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan, I remember way back when the mega powers were bonded. Yeah, you made a lot of promises to the Macho Man, didn't you? Promises that you didn't keep. I remember one specific one, yeah. You promised that Elizabeth would never be in a dangerous position. You broke that promise, didn't you, Hulk Hogan? And who had to come in and make that critical save? The Macho Man, Randy Savage, covering for Hogan again.
Halo Infinite is pretty good. It's definitely got the best gameplay. If I had a Duracell battery with a plus and minus on it for every thing I was going to say about Halo Infinite, I think on the plus side of one battery would definitely be the gameplay, and on the minus would be some kind of narrative stuff. I think it was a pretty good story, albeit really confusing. And if you didn't read the extended lore, you know, all 6 Harry Potter books, some things might kind of fly over your head. You might have to play through it a couple times, but still really good. Considerably better than the previous one. When it comes to the gameplay, you basically got everything you could ever want in a Halo game. You got Master Chief, all the aliens. Their AIs are super cool. They do jumps and they all shit talk each other. It's really funny whenever grunts essentially do anything in the game, all 3 of the other alien races will just start, you know, like hounding on them, just insulting them. I think that's great. All of the fobs. The fobs are essentially Spartan playgrounds. Master Chief gets dropped off by his father Fernando at the playground, so you can go wild. You get to use your zip line and fly around the whole thing, throw the little boxes at everybody. The box is the best weapon in the game. There is just so much to do. All of the guns are awesome, especially the ones that are so goddamn bad in multiplayer. They're actually good in single player. You know the Ravager? It's the gun that just shoots red stuff. You use that in multiplayer, you're basically, you know, saying to the enemy, hey, can you just, I'm trying to get as many suicides as possible so I get banned by Bungie for 15 minutes to stop worrying about the challenges. Can you just kill me instead? But use that thing in single player, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to use all these different weapon types in single player. Okay, now let's trade off to the other side of the battery. When it comes to the story, I really like the main narrative, and I like the main characters. You essentially have the 3 best friends that anybody could have: Master Chief, Alexa from Amazon, and Fernando, who's a really interesting character in this game. It's so surprising how much screen time they give this guy. Like, I'm sure he's not in that many cutscenes. I remember 2/3 of the game is just the camera panning really close on Fernando's eyes. They just wanted to show you those eyes. You could have called this game Fernando in Space. But all things considered, he's a good character. Just gets a little too much screen time. He is definitely straight out of a soap opera. Way over dramatic, but obviously on purpose. Like, he is performing. This guy went to theater. This guy was on, I don't know, Glee or something. But in a good way. He's a good boy. The other character, I don't know what we call the Weapon. That's what we're calling her, the Weapon. She's okay. You can't really talk about that character without just spoiling everything, but it's an alright character. Maybe it'll grow on fans over time, and maybe some people are like, "Oh, I love that thing. I love that character. Oh, Tamagotchi." But you know, I'm not sold quite yet. Maybe as these hopeful story expansions come, it will give us an opportunity to grow and learn more about the character. Because honestly, I think they tried a little too hard to rush things with this character. There are other things happening in the story. Everything's competing for plot relevance. And the campaign levels themselves are only about the length of a regular Halo campaign. And despite the fact that it feels like the other Halo campaigns got a lot done in their missions, in this game it feels like they didn't get that much done, but they wanted to get a lot done. And I really felt that towards the end. Definitely wasn't a huge fan of the data cluster lore exposition pieces. It's kind of a spoiler, but essentially the whole game there is non-collectible variants of data logs that you can find in the world. So in any open world game, there's always data logs, journal pieces, cassette players, sticky notes, things like that tell you details about things that happen. You'll be playing a horror game, you'll find a note. It says, "Oh, John was supposed to come back at 7 p.m. But he didn't bring any milk, so that means he didn't come back because the milk's not in the fridge." You read these things, the lore. Sometimes they are world building, sometimes they're clues, sometimes they're for fun. We have those in Halo Infinite, data logs over the world. But then in the actual campaign itself, there's these things called data clusters, and essentially, Master Chief walks through one, and he's like, "What was that?" And then the weapon's like, "That's data. That's just data. It's just floating there." I'm like, "What?" And it's so the writers could just tell you everything that happened there when Master Chief wasn't there to Cortana and Escharum and all of, the whole banished faction. It's just a bunch of exposition stuff, and it's not that you can't use that thing to tell stories, the data clusters. And towards the end, they use it in in some smarter ways. But I just felt it's pretty funny where you're going, I wonder what what's going to happen, and then you just walk into a room and holograms of things that already happened just start playing in front of you. It's felt a little uncreative as a narrative experience, seeing essentially holotapes just be the main cutscenes. Very, very basic storytelling, but that's kind of just my opinion. Some people probably thought, I can't wait to walk in this room, shoot some aliens, and then learn what happened in the past. Like a detective. Like every time you clear a room, you get a vision to what happened 6 months ago, and essentially I feel like that was a big part of the game. I still greatly enjoyed the story, and just the open world aspect of the whole thing was really great. It's not even really an open world in the same sake other open world games that include that tag are. It's basically just a giant ass Halo map where you can go to the missions or you can go do the side objectives, which are the same content missions feature anyways. What do you think you're going to do? You're going to shoot aliens. You go into a base, you go, "Hey, there's some aliens in here." You shoot all the aliens, have fun, free Marines half the time. Usually they're locked up with these magical yellow jump rope chain leash things, and you break those. The Marines start trash talking the AI. The AI starts trash talking the grunts. The grunts start trash talking Master Chief. I swear to God, the most fun part of this entire game isn't the campaign. It's not Escharum. It's not Fernando. It's not even backstabs with your melee button. The most fun part of this game is just listening and watching the aliens do shit. And the grunts, they're straight out of 4chan. They're the weakest little pieces of crap in the whole game, and all they do is just shit talk Master Chief. They have these little shit posting towers everywhere where they can just say whatever they want. And they go, "Hey, Master Chief, bet you won't break this tower. Hey, Master Chief, we killed all your friends." I don't remember all the quotes. There's probably literally 700 lines of dialogue for just those towers. And it's hilarious. I looked this up online. I think there's up to half an hour of dialogue for the hunters. The hunters, the piles of worms with armor that go, there's half an hour of that. So if you want to put that on the mixtape for the boys, just show up, hey, can I play my mixtape? And you just play that for half an hour, they're going to look at you and they're going to be like, dang, man, turn that shit up. I think it's pretty cool that we got this campaign. I can say if you told me, hey, you can only play one Halo campaign for the next year, I would say, hey, I want to play Infinite. I mean, yeah, it's the new one, but it's the most fun. You'll have so much fun with it. Or just, yeah, you just have fun with it. Just hanging out in the world, just throwing boxes at at the jackals, like specifically the jackal skirmishers. There was this one part in the game. It was my most memorable moment to me. I was fighting some aliens, and it was really funny. I threw this box at this grunt after he turned around to start screaming to run away, and then he made that horrific dying sound. It sounded like you took a pig and you put it into a paper shredder. And then as he's screaming on the ground in agony, the skirmisher hops over his body, like maybe it was just the AI, acting up. Skirmisher literally Tony Hawk does a trick over this thing's body, and then it goes, little grunt, dead. And I was just like, yeah, same.
I feel flattered by your attempts to destroy. Is it my credits you seek?